Hi Trudy, thank you so much for allowing me to record this conversation. I believe it's going to help a lot of people because we all are going through exactly the same situations. Lately I've noticed everybody seems to be stressing more and more about money. I don't know whether you're encountering the same difficulties, but it just seems to be a national thing. Everybody that you speak to says, oh, it's the shortage of money, the shortage of money. And yet, I think to myself, why do they make the money so important? Because they awoke with a roof over their heads. They were able to have running water. They were able to use a towel to dry themselves. They could choose which clothes to wear. And thank God they were safe throughout the night. Why do people only focus on that one thing that they don't have, Trudy?
No, I think we all, like you said, we all going through something like that in our lives. And I think maybe what happens is that you're so focused on that one thing that it starts to take control of your whole life, and you feel you won't be happy, you will not be content until you get that one thing. Now the problem with humans is we're never satisfied, so what happens is you will get that one thing, and then there'll always be something
the
else.
next thing.
So meaning,
Yes.
if you are driven, or if your happiness depends on materialistic things, it means you'll never be happy.
Yeah, this is why I always say it's important to be happy now. You mustn't postpone your happiness. You mustn't postpone it and say, I'll be happy when I get that boyfriend.
Yeah.
Or I'll be happy when I get that money. I'll be happy when he comes to see me. Just be happy now. And that boyfriend will come. And the money will come. And you are already happy. Because I believe that which we focus on, Trudy, expands in our heads. It becomes really big. It becomes monstrous, and in fact that is what causes us to go then into focusing on lack, on feeling depression, on feeling the only ones that are going through something, because other people, I must be very truthful with you, are very good at covering up. They cover so much, they push everything under the carpet. We don't discuss this, we don't do that. No, darling, we must face it, we must acknowledge, I don't have the money right now, but I know and I feel I will get the money. One quote I love from the Bible was the one where Jesus said, that which you pray believing you have received, you will receive. And there's another favorite one of mine that I love, is thank God for blessings not yet seen. And whenever I feel that thank God for blessings I've not yet seen, I live in hope. I have that energy that everything's going to be okay, everything's going to fall into place, and I don't think about it again. I actually ask and I say, Lord, I thank you for these blessings I've not yet seen, and I forget about it. I get involved in cleaning the yard, or I get involved in typing a case, or to relax. It's strange, but I go on Facebook. And I've also found that when I want to know about something, if I Google it, internet is right at my fingertips, honey. I immediately get inspired. Although I write motivational columns, although I have my own YouTube channel, I do watch other people's talks, because those things also inspire and uplift me, because you can't know everything. And we always go down when we have this feeling that we are limited. We must not be limited. It's never too late for you to start on a new dream, or on a new project, or on a new something, because at that moment, that is the right time. You've got whatever you put into something is what you're going to get out. So if you're going to put negativity and focus on that one thing you haven't got, the money, honey, that's the one thing that's going to lack, because the more you feel lack, the more you create lack. It's like anything else. The more you feel excited about something that you are doing, the more things start to happen. People start to phone. Come, let's do this. Oh, I've got somebody wants to talk to you about that. Oh, did you know somebody else is interested in the project that you are doing? And we can all. The trouble is that people seem to want to get. They must get the limelight. No, we can all get the limelight. What's important is let's just get it done. That's what's important. And another thing with regard to money is an energy, babes. If you are not getting it now, you're vibrating at the wrong frequency, honey. You've got to vibrate at a much higher frequency to get what you haven't got. You've got to become conscious. What vibrations am I emitting all the time? And once you become aware of the vibrations you are emitting, is it insecurity, is it lack, is it fear? You know, once you're aware, and you can change that. And the minute you lift your vibration, this is why a lot of people never get to getting a lot of money or never get to succeed in manifesting their dreams, because they're vibrating at the same frequency when they had nothing. Honey, you got to pick that thing up. You got to, it's a different vibration altogether. You must notice when you are happy, when you are, you know, with a lot of friends and you are talking and it's like, that phone doesn't stop ringing. Why? Because you are in a state of non-resistance. You are so engrossed and so involved. One of the things you cannot ever do is bluff the universe. The universe knows exactly what you feel and when you feel it and how you feel it. And because our mothers always made it such a big thing, oh, when there was that one thing that wasn't there, oh, you're asking me for that, when you know very well we don't have this and we don't have that and we you know. No, babes, it didn't work for them. That's why most of the time they were angry. They would take out their frustrations on us. I know, I speak for myself. I would get told off at a dizzy height and I would think, whoa. But you know, even then, there was a good side to that. Because I would look and say, ha, this is what I don't want to become. Thank you, Lord. And the minute I became my mother, I said, I've got to learn to stop this. I've got to go the other way. Because it didn't work with my mother. Why am I copying something that didn't work? And therefore, when I brought up my foster children and my son, I made sure that I never practiced on them what my mom had practiced on me, you know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I can relate, but I think in life, not everyone. I wish everyone would see things the way you see them, because I feel like everything would just flow so easily. But not everyone has that, you know,
Awareness.
that awareness
Yes.
of. And also, like you said, I liked what you said, like keeping busy and not focusing so much on
What is
that
missing?
problem, whether
Yes.
it being whatever it is.
Yes.
Because if you don't focus on it so much, it won't occupy
your
your
mind.
mind
Yes.
as much.
It won't take
And
you
you'll think,
over.
and then, like you said, without you even noticing, you know, your problem will be solved, or without you having to stress so much about it.
Yes.
And
You know, in stressing, Trudy, we actually destroy our bodies.
yeah.
You know, the worst of all diseases is actually depression. You would have never thought of that, huh? You know, depression, totally, you control your whole body with the energies that you pump. Everything starts to break down. And yet a lot of people tend to say depression is not a genuine disease. It is the biggest disease. You know, a friend and I Googled it and we found that in the next 5 years, half of the Americans will be suffering from depression. And that is a very, very destructive energy, you know. It is an energy that will totally destroy every part of your body. As a result of negativity, anger, hatred, anxiety, stress, I ended up with cancer. And you know, when I went for those chemo treatments, it's the worst thing you could ever do. Believe me, I couldn't stop puking. I couldn't even stand up and drive myself. I had to get people to drive me to go and get my chemo treatments. And you know, when I came back and I said to God, why me? Why? Why do you do this to me? I was really very angry with God. And you know, I actually started thinking, God doesn't exist, because if he existed, I wouldn't be going through that. I couldn't be such a terrible person that I could get this disease. And then one day, the Lord said, I didn't do it to you. You did it to yourself. And you know, that is the greatest shock, when somebody tells you the truth to your face. It is so painful. A lot of people don't know how to accept that. And once I accepted that, I said, okay, now show me. How do I do it? And one day when I was being horrible, nasty, and really, after I'd finished and I had no energy left, you know, I couldn't stand up and go to the toilet by myself. People had to help me to the toilet. Now these same people that are busy treating me so well are the very people that I'm shouting at and swearing. Oh, my vocabulary was very good at that time. Believe me, it was like those street boys by the shop. And you know what? When I realized what I was doing, I said, Lord, if you heal me, if you show me how to heal myself, I will spread your word like no other. And this is why I wrote for the newspapers for free. The first 4 years was for free. I never got paid anything. But I did it. I would post things on Facebook to try and encourage others, because I had started to become aware. I had realized that my whole being depends on what's in my head and how I approach and deal with things. You know, For example, now I realize when somebody does something, I'll say to somebody, oh, could you please be so kind as to take that and put it over there? And could you please do that and that and that for me? And when they don't do it, before, I would get depressed. I would think, my God, this person hates me? How can they do this? Really? This is to show me that they're undermining me. They really don't listen to me. I'm nobody. And you know what? The answer came a few days later and it says, no, it's got nothing to do with you. But there's a lesson for you to learn from this. And that is that you should stop depending on other people. You must learn to do things for yourself, depend on yourself, and if they don't do it, realize they have the freedom to choose. Just like you have the freedom to choose. That it's a right that they have. You cannot infringe on that right. You cannot restrict that right. But what that person has to learn is that until they learn to take instructions, to do it with their whole being, to feel good about doing it, they're not going to progress to the next level. It's like I wrote in one of my articles, you can never get to grade 2, darling, until you've passed grade 1. And you're never going to get, to what you people call it grade 5 until you've passed grade 4. This is what it's about, even in life. And those lessons will keep coming up all the time. And it's nothing personal. It's not that that person has anything against you. It's got nothing to do with you at all. That person simply is a person that's not conscious enough, is not aware enough that there are no accidents in life. Every single thing that happens to you is there for a reason. And until you master that, babes, you're not going to move on to the next level. Yeah. So it's nothing personal. So when somebody's nasty to you, take a step back, honey. Observe it and realize, really, you are telling me so much about yourself. Oh, if only you knew how much I know about you now. You've divulged everything. You are a bully. You are conceited.
Yeah.
You are arrogant. All these things come out. When people start talking a whole lot, be careful. They're telling you about themselves because we will only see that which we have within us. You will never find that which you don't have. And the most difficult thing for me too was acknowledging. When I started to observe other people and started to notice certain things, and I would ask God, why? And God would say, well, then you do it too. You've got it in you. That's why you can see it. And until you learn that, and eventually you look back one day and you realize, oh, I no longer notice that aggression. I no longer notice that hatred. I no longer notice that insecurity. I no longer see jealous women, because in your space you have removed that. So now you don't see it. And this is why now and again, after many years of not seeing it, somebody comes up and says, oh, you are a threat. How can you be so nice to so-and-so and so-and-so? And you think, but my nature is that of being nice to everybody. And by the way, who is so-and-so? This is what it's about,
We all know that people that suffer from depression are very sensitive to certain comments, what advice would you have for someone suffering from depression and has decided to just shut down and stay away from society? Because why bother when you put yourself out there, they only just run you down. So what advice would you give someone, how does one not let those negative comments get to them and take them back to their depressive state?
Depression comes as a result of giving other people too much power over you. We grew up with mothers that said, oh, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? Don't say this and don't say that. I say it all. No matter how small you think it is, it can grow very big in your head because I've been there. A small little thing like you saying, oh, you are putting on weight. To me, it's not just weight. It's I'm becoming ugly because people have always associated weight with ugly fat people. This thing starts to grow in my head. She is indirectly saying I'm ugly. She is probably saying I lack self-esteem. I'm not confident enough. All these things, these demons come in one's head because I've been there. I know what it's about. So I realized that it actually takes a lot of awareness and a lot of self-control. Because I told myself, you must remember I live in a normal family where a lot of people have mouths that they just run off and they don't realize how much they hurt you when they run off those mouths, believe me, that you begin to feel like a front door mat. And my family are very good at showing me that, believe me. So I had to learn to take a step back and say to myself, okay, what she's actually saying has nothing to do with me. She's very angry. Instead of hitting out at the person that put her and made her miserable, she's hitting out at me, because the tendency is for me to actually keep quiet. Because I don't believe on this back and forth, you know, where you say something and I shout back and who shouts the loudest. That for me is street behavior. You know, in my family we've never had that. But certain members of my family behave in that way. They have adopted this behavior. And so I decided I'm going to just pause for a moment and think deeply. Right, this person that is so busy judging me on my life has not done A, B, C, D, E, which I've achieved. But they are so busy judging me. They haven't even got their own lives in order, you know. Why would I give somebody like that any worth? Why would their opinion be so superior to what I think of myself? And slowly I would, you know, I actually learned to do rituals. I would write down everything I felt, the anger, the hatred, every single thing. I found that as long as I wrote, I was letting it out. And then once a week, I would get hold of all these papers, and I would burn them, and I would actually blow it away and say to myself, this is gone. And in my mind's eye, I would see it actually go very far away, because that piece of black charred paper that was burned, now the writing is gone. It diminished and it disappeared. And every time I saw that person and that thought came, you are nasty, your behavior is evil, you hurt me, I would imagine that piece of paper disappearing and I would forgive. But there also comes a time, you can forgive so many times, there comes a time when you have to shield you and you prefer to just distance yourself. Because it is more comfortable. Until you are stable with something, it is better for you to just remove yourself from that environment. Because you must remember, we're not superhuman beings. We are human at the end of the day. As much as in my head I can control me, I never know what the next explosion from the other side is going to be. And that can totally destabilize me, that I go right back into depression. So to prevent myself getting into that, I make sure that I just distance myself. I keep my distance and I shield myself. I say the minimum, I feel the minimum, I feel no energies, I have no anger, I'm forgiven. But honey, I've got to take care of me. I've got to take care of me. And that's what I do. Because society is actually very nasty. There's a lot of angry, evil, negative people out there. You've got to realize that. It does not help you to keep away. You cannot totally keep away, because once you become a hermit, unfortunately your problems become even greater. In that head of yours, it's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger and greater, and eventually, my sweetheart, you're going to feel life is not worth it. And this is why I always say one must have the time to reach out to another. And if anybody calls me and says, I need to talk, everything stops. Money making, you know, gardening, whatever, everything stops. And that person has priority in my life, because I know what it's like to be there, because I've been there.
I liked what you said about always having support, which I feel is very important, because suffering from depression, you do need someone. It makes things a bit much easier for you. So, although that being said, it is a bit hard to open up. How does one know that I can trust Inalda with this personal information that I'm telling, that I'm opening up and sharing with her? Because like we talked about society being nasty, I could tell you something very personal to me and you take that and use it against me. So it's very hard. Sometimes you want to speak out and you want to share how you feel, but there's just this fear of, what if this is used against me? What if I'm laughed at?
This is something very common. People choose the wrong people to confide in. This is why, for me, it is always important to choose somebody outside of your family.
Yeah.
Because that way, you know, they don't take sides. Because if you are going to share something with somebody, take somebody that's neutral and take somebody that you know has a reputation of not repeating things. You must also be a character reader. A person that comes to you and says, let me tell you about Pumzile. Honey, that person is also going to tell other people about you.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to start to weigh things. And this is why, me personally, I have no interest in anybody's affairs. You know, if I hear something, in fact, if I don't make notes, or when I am busy mentoring somebody, if I don't make notes, I don't remember it. Because for me, I believe that a lot of people actually just want to be heard. Because people don't listen. They are screaming out for help. They want to talk about things. Oh, I don't have the time right now, I'm busy. Why don't you come back later?
Yeah.
You know, and when somebody says that, babes, it puts me off. No matter how excited I am and I want to talk to you about something, and I say to you, oh, can I talk to you? Can I tell you about this? And say, not now, I'm busy. By the time you come back, sweetheart, I'm not going to tell you about it. I've lost interest. So, you know, you must be able to judge what sort of character is this person. And also, avoid choosing family members. Unfortunately, all the negativity we start learning in the family. All the goodness as well. But, you know, later on in life, it seems to be the negativity that overtakes. Oh, she thinks so highly of herself. Oh, she thinks she's so great. She's forever showing off about how much she's doing. And how much she's got. Honey, it's nothing about that. You are seeing that because that's who you are. You are suffering complexes. You don't have it, you're not doing it, you are inactive, and now suddenly you are vocalizing that because you are insecure. It's part of your own insecurities. And every single situation is for us to learn. The first time that you confide in somebody about anything, and you tell them that, hey, I stole a cup of sugar from a house, and you hear it that, I know you steal sugar, you know that I can't trust this person. You know, this is what they are about, you know. So you must realize that we've always, throughout our growing up, we have had those people that repeat things. And for me, that's actually very shallow. I'm very blessed because in my homestead, my mom would, if you were not there, and I would say, let me tell you what happened to Trudy. Says, Trudy here. She's not here, isn't she? Wait until she comes so that you can tell us about it. So that way you could defend yourself. And then, you know, certain other people come into the family and these people are very different. They sit there and they will tell you A, B, C, D, and somehow one gets kind of pulled into it. And then one day one wakes up and realizes that, hey, this is draining me, taking all my energy. This person has taught me something that I shouldn't be doing. This is why I can't focus on manifesting my own dreams, you know. And you suddenly realize that this talking about people doesn't work. Your energies are going to be all over the place. So, you know, you've got to choose somebody. It's better to choose somebody outside of your family. And when you choose that somebody, I'm available to discuss with anybody, anything. As I said, if I don't write it down, babes, I forget about it. Because it's not important to me. It does not. To me, it's important to me when you are discussing it with me. But other than that, why should I go and repeat it? Of what significance would it be and how would it help me? It will not in any way help me because, you know, my dreams are totally different to whatever it may be. I'm more involved in doing things and being and feeling different experiences, you know. So when I say I am available, I'm available to listen. I'm not going to be counseling. You know, it's a pity that the mental hospital does not have enough psychologists and psychiatrists because a lot of people do need that. I'm not ashamed to say, when I had my nervous breakdown, I went to see a psychiatrist once a month for the whole year. And friends who grew up with me will tell you, we are so proud to read what Inalda writes about when we know where Inalda comes from, a nervous breakdown. So, you know, I'm not ashamed about that. And how does a nervous breakdown come? It comes as a result of feeling overwhelmed, everything's too much, depression, nobody to hear you. This is what it's about. And there's a lot of people out there screaming about exactly the same thing, you know. And let's just pause, take time. And that's why I wrote that article the other day saying we don't talk. We have to talk. But then I asked myself, how are people going to talk when the very mothers of these children, they themselves lack communication skills? Instead of going on the internet and seeing how other people communicate or, coming out of safety mode and going to a place they've never been, seeing how other people converse, they don't do it. And babes, if you do the same thing in the same way, you're always going to get the same result. If you don't like what you're doing, you better change, you know. If you don't like what you're getting, you better change what you're doing, babes. This is what it's about. And like I said, in anything, you've got to change the vibration. You want something you've never had, change the vibration. You're vibrating at a very low frequency for that thing. So, you know, you've got to just lift yourself up because different vibrations will bring different things, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I also feel like just having, you know, the power of compassion, having someone say, you need me, I'll stop, like you said, when someone calls on you and says, I would like to talk about whatever. You stop whatever you're doing. And for someone, it makes you feel I'm important, I'm acknowledged. Somebody cares about me so much that they will stop their whole day just to listen to what I have to say. So I feel like it's very important for someone, maybe not necessarily depression, anyone,
Yes.
having that just
That
one
a listening ear.
ear, you know, someone to,
We all need it.
yeah.
We all need it.
Yeah, so I feel like
Yes.
it's very important.